The New York Mets didn't have any guys on their roster get selected as starters for the MLB All Star team. But in just a matter of 10-15 minutes ago, the New York Mets will have 4 representatives join the All Star game as All Star reserves. And those names are Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Starling Marte, and Edwin Diaz. What's going on, everybody? This is NYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news surrounding the New York Mets. And today, I'm just going to talk about some injury updates on Starling Marte and James McCann and what their statuses is going forward for the New York Mets. Yesterday, Starling Marte, he was banged up and had to leave the game during the New York Mets-Marlins game in the afternoon. He has now been diagnosed with a groin injury, but he will not be placed on the injured list as he's only right now day-to-day after having an MRI with the New York Mets earlier today. In terms of James McCann, who also departed from the game yesterday, he has been placed on the injured list again with a left side discomfort. And his diagnosis right now going forward seems to be he's going to be week to week, even when he comes off the IL in the next 10 days, to see how he is before he can ramp up activity and come back to the New York Mets and begin to play as the starting catcher going forward. So this can open up an opportunity for maybe a Francisco Alvarez, if he continues to hit well in the minor leagues, to potentially be brought up to the New York Mets roster. Now, in terms of the main reason why I'm making this video right now, it's going to be all about the New York Mets having 4 All-Stars representing their team for the All-Star game in a couple of weeks. Now, the New York Mets, no surprise at all, after they've been the number 1 team in the National League, best team in the NL East in the beginning of the season, and primarily for the most of the season have been the best team in the National League record-wise. They're going to have 4 representatives for the All-Star team going into this game. The first one starting with Pete Alonso, who has been absolutely on a tear the entire season, and he's been one of the big main components on why the New York Mets have been in the position that they have been in this year. Pete Alonso right now, he's played in 84 games with 273 batting average. He has hit for 23 home runs and 70 RBIs. Those are great numbers. 70 RBIs right now leads the National League in terms of RBIs. He has scored 47 runs. He has a 349 on-base percentage as well as 85 hits, which right now leads the New York Mets team. So Pete Alonso has gotten the job done, and he is 1,000% perfectly a great reason to make this team. I think he should have been the representative for the first baseman position as a starter for the All-Star team, but Goldschmidt for the Cardinals also has a good season, and I guess they want to go with the all-around game in terms of defensive and offensive reasons, so that's the reason why Paul Goldschmidt made the All-Star team. Another guy that has deserved to make this All-Star team is Jeff McNeil, who has been equally as impressive for the New York Mets. And both him and Pete Alonso are going to be on the New York Mets, on the All-Star team for the second time in their seasons, especially since they've been brought up from the New York Mets in the minor leagues a few years ago. Jeff McNeil has right now been playing in 76 games overall. He has a batting average of .315, which is very good for this season. He has 35 RBIs off 4 home runs, scored 38 runs with a .376 on-base percentage and 82 hits, which is second right now on the New York Mets behind Pete Alonso. But McNeil did play in a little bit less games than Alonso so far this season. And McNeil has even improved on his defense. So Jeff McNeil has had a tremendous bounce-back season for the New York Mets after a very down 2021 season. So you're glad to see it. Jeff McNeil is a major part of this New York Mets team going forward. So I'm happy to hear he made the All-Star team. Now, Starling Marte is also another guy who's been pretty good at the top of the lineup for the New York Mets, along with Brandon Nimmo. But Starling Marte, as well, has provided very solid defense from the right field position, even occasionally has played some starting center field at times when Brandon Nimmo had to miss some time for the starting lineup. So I'm glad to see he made it. He's played in 74 games right now with a .291 average. He's hit 9 home runs with 40 RBIs, scored 50 runs with a .342 on-base percentage, and has 87 hits. So I take that back before. Starling Marte actually has the most hits right now in the New York Mets. So I apologize for the earlier post. He actually has the most hits on the team right now, even though he's missed the past game because of injury. And who knows when he's going to return to the lineup because of his groin injury, but he's right now not been placed on the injured list. But Starling Marte has deserved this honor to be named to the All-Star team. And even a guy that I bashed over this season and over previous seasons for his pitching production because of how he acts in clutch situations, but Edwin Diaz has had a strong season for the New York Mets, bounced back after he's had a rough few seasons with the New York Mets. Edwin Diaz right now, he's pitching to a 1.83 ERA, 1.83 ERA in 35 games, where he's had about 29 games finished. He's pitched to about 34.1 innings pitched, 68 strikeouts with 12 walks, 7 runs given up, including 7 earned ERA, or 7 runs earned or average, and he has a WHIP right now of 1.078. So those are pretty solid numbers for Edwin Diaz in a bounce-back season so far, which have resulted in him earning an All-Star selection for the second time in his career. All these guys deserve to make the All-Star team. Some of them should be deserving to be starters for the All-Star team this year, especially for a guy like Pete Alonso. But it's good to see the New York Mets have representation for this team going forward. So that's just my quick video on some injury updates that I wanted to put out there, as well as All-Star selections. If you like the video, please hit the like button below. So subscribe if you haven't already to NYG JeffyT 3285 for more breaking news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Mets. Leave a comment below on if you agree with these 4 guys being selected to the All-Star team. And turn the bell on for the next notifications surrounding the New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets, New York Giants, WWE Wrestling, as well as some food for thought future on and later on in the season. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Mets. You gotta believe.